Well, you built the church up, and then you also mentioned in your bio the healthcare company you worked. You from 150 to 4,000 people, and you mentioned burnout. Is that one of those hidden costs for rapid growth, or is there some other hidden cost that comes with rapid growth that people don't realize?
I don't think I don't think it has to be, and that's part of the point of like what I do now, right? Is like I want to help, especially like when you're a startup and you're an entrepreneur, right? Because you're like trying to play the jack of all trades and do all those kinds of things, which is good in a sense, but the point is not to get the most things done, is to get the right things done. And if you're not taking time to pull back and, even the busiest times, I would take one day a month completely offsite. Do not contact me unless it's an emergency. And we were growing like crazy. Like not only we were, like I said, we went from 150 employees to 4,000, 6 states to 41 states. We added like 4 new service lines. We added, therapy and primary care and diagnostics labs and pharmacy and all those kind of things. So we're adding new lines and new stuff. And my point was like, look, we've got to scale ourselves from a leadership standpoint, and we got to scale the culture faster than the company. Because if we don't, it'll implode on itself, at some point. So yeah, you're gonna be working hard. You're gonna be working your ass off, but you don't have to burn out to do it. And that comes from, I kind of have this belief that maybe a lot of people will find offensive, but, and this I'm busy often or whatever, but like we live in this culture of busyness, right? It's almost like a badge of honor. Everybody is, how you doing? Oh, man, busy. And so I say like if you're busy, it's either because of laziness or cowardice. And the reason I say that is because, it's laziness that you have not taken time to set out what are the priorities and the needle movers. Theory of competitive advantage has shown that companies really do well, or vastly better outperform whenever the executive and then, the CEO and the other executive actually say, what am I best at in this organization? Not what am I just really good at or can do, but what am I the best at and no one else can do like me? And they focus on that comparative advantage. And so like, that's one of those things, right? That gets you doing needle moving things, right? So I think you're busy because you're lazy, because you haven't actually set out what are the priorities, what are the things that are going to move the needle for us and get us going. So I like to say, like, part of what I do is I take leaders from being busy to being productive. Because you know how it is. You get home some days, like you're like exhausted. You're like, now work my ass off. I did all these things, whatever. Like, not accomplished anything. What did I really get done? And part of that is not doing that, and the other is just letting other people set your agenda, right? Like how many leaders, and I'm guilty of it too sometimes, but I always ask guys, or whoever, I'm coaching, whatever, hey, what's the first thing you do in the morning? And I know, got a chance to listen to some other podcasts, and there were some great guys on here. What was the guy's name? I think it was Hakeem.
Oh yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah, he's awesome, right? And like he just talks so much about like the more discipline and morning and evening routines and things like that. And yeah, I could agree with him more. I don't think I'm as good as him, but it was like you're to your balls to the wall, man. Like
I want to hear you rap like him, dude.
I could do Ice Ice Baby. I could do.
Go to that thing that he spit off at the very end was like, I mean, me and Pat were over here. It's like,
it was a great. Yeah, I backed it up and like slowed it down, like because I listen to usually like podcasts on a little festival, but slow it, like damn, it's great. Yeah, every line
thing like flow, and it was like almost like slam poetry or something. It was so cool. And if you follow him on social media, he puts out stuff like that like almost every day. Yeah, like but that one particularly like went really viral for him. So I think he just has it like memorized now and like something he says all the time, I think. But it was awesome.
Yeah, you should have had him start and end with that. Yeah, like that was a hook. That would have been a hook right from the beginning.
Well, yeah, we clipped that up, and that's like one of our most watched videos on like our Instagrams and stuff for sure. Like,
I mean, that was 3-4 weeks ago, and I'm sure people are still Valentine's Day.
People are still sharing it and like liking it and sharing it, and I still get notifications for that all the time.
Well, if I do one for you, it'll probably be one of your most watched as well, but for the very opposite reason. Sir, yeah. He's like, hey, check out this terrible white guy trying to but yeah, that like, you know, when I ask people, they're like, well, I wake up and I pick my phone up and start scrolling emails or scroll social media or whatever, right? And it's like you're automatically letting yourself get drawn into the drama and the priorities of everyone else and letting their emergency become your urgency instead of setting out what is it that I am called to do today? How am I going to show up in this meeting, in this place for this thing? And it didn't take a lot of time. It's not like you got to sit there for 2 hours and do all that. It takes, 10 minutes. But when you jump on, there's famously like Napoleon used to wait 3 weeks before he would read his correspondence, right? You're kind of crazy. He's the head of a state. He's like in war all the time, military general, right? People are like his generals or whatever lieutenants sending letters. He wouldn't read them for 3 weeks. And the reason was because he said because after 3 weeks, either they've figured out how to take care of it, it's resolved itself, or it'll be one of the very few things that's important enough for me to have to actually take care of, right? And we get in. Yeah, I talk about that same repetitive cycle with the emails. People like, send me email, and I was like, but you're feeding the beast because every time you jump on and respond because we train people how to treat us, right? So if every time people email me, I'm responding to them, and maybe you have a job, maybe that's your thing that you want to do that's okay. But most people are like, this is killing me.
Yeah, I should one 10 times a day.
Yep.
Yeah. Roll that first log.
Do you do the 3, 2, 1, 0 factor or whatever? What's that?
Cash and time is incredible enough, though.
You already did it yourself. You didn't need Mel Robbins or whoever it was to teach you how to do it. So yeah, you do it 3 times a day. Actually, I remember out for 20 minutes, and one something you get your email 0. I'll look it up again, but I thought maybe you were on that model.
Yeah, no, I check it in the morning when I first log in to see if there's anything that came in overnight, and then I'll do it again at lunch, and then again before. Make sure I close it out at the end of the day, that there's nothing left at the end of the day, that I've gotten to everything that that I need to get to. I get so many fucking emails that it's insane. I mean, I'm getting anywhere from 3 or 6 emails a day.
Right. So how do you embrace that?
Exactly. Can't.
Exactly. And the more, like I said, but the more you if you're like respond, people go, oh, you get shit done. Yeah. You just send your email, doubles it up. And so one of the things that I did too, I think you have to communicate about it. Cause one of the things I did with, my people when I was at Empower Me, right? Cause big companies growing. I was like, same thing. I could never get to this. But it was a big email culture. But I said to all my people from onboarding to on, I said, listen, if you need something from me, if it's urgent, if it's something you need to hear back from me within, any period of time, you call me or text me, and I promise I will answer. I'll get back to you within an hour. But if you email me, I assume it's not important. It might be a week. It might be 2 weeks. I'm not going to be sit there glued to my email all day because I'm not getting anything done.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I had something I tell my clients, like when I start working with them, I'm like, hey, best way to get a hold of me, call me, text me. Because if you email me, it's going to get lost in the shuffle.
Or most guaranteed they text me that you email me.
Yeah. Yeah. I said you can't do that. Like if it's an email that you need to be look, just want me a text and say, hey man, can you check out your email this? Yeah.
Like, hey, I sent you something like that.
And I get that. And I get that, with email, you want to have it written down and that where things can get misconstrued through speaking, but in have an actual documented form of communication, which is fine. But text me when you know you.
Yeah.
So with all of you just end up ignoring most of them.
So so most of it's a lot of just operations shit that I don't really like. It's just oh, this one got pushed into underwriting, or oh, this one's in processing, or we just ordered the appraisal, or the appraisal came in. I'll go through and just quickly go through those. And plus I get, a ton of, the solicitors in terms of hey, this job opportunity is available. We're interested in you. Would you be interested in that? And stuff like that. I'll just sign back. Hey, I'm happy where I'm at. I'll keep you in mind. Just shoot off a quick response and just leave it at that. But, I go through and look for things that come from real estate agents and clients. That's it. Anything else, I'm clicking through that's not really relevant that, because if it was important, they would have reached out to me and told me that. But clients, because usually they're texting, email me documents or something like that, or, hey, I just sent a contract over to you and I'll have to go in and do that. But most of the time, The agents that I work with, clients that I work with, they know that if they need to get in touch with me, call me or text me. That's the first thing I tell them. It's like, hey, like I'll get leads that come through, and it might be between that time where it's lunch and before I end the day, and it's a couple hours before I respond. And at that point, like I'll get the email and just say, hey, here's my cell phone number. This is the best way to communicate with me. I am way quicker at responding to that than I am emails because I check it 3 times a day. Let's make communication through text and phone calls. And if you absolutely want to send an email, go for the text me and let me know you know.
Yep.
So,
And I think that goes to the larger principles of communicating your values as a leader. You need to know what your values are and communicate those to your people. Like, if you have a value of, man, respect means showing up on time to meetings, being prepared, having read the thing, whatever, but you never communicate that to people. Like, I'm like, John doesn't respect me. He shows up 3 minutes late to every meeting. Like, is that the culture here? Have you ever said this is a value and this is what I expect of you? Well, no, he should just know that. Well, these are your values, right? So like, you got to communicate. Here's my value around communication. Like, here's how you can best reach me, those kinds of things. And then, the other principle, being that, you are in charge of setting your priorities, not everybody else. And then what we want to do is then blame other people, right? But what we're really doing is, and so it's like, until we deal with our, ego, we can't really lead until we can only really lead people to the extent we're willing to disappoint some people. I don't mean like that's the goal. Like, how many people that I disappoint today or tick off? I used to joke when I was at Empowerment Healthcare, right? So it was like, I don't know, 85% of the company were females. So I had like 9 direct reports, 8 of them were women. And somebody asked me one day, like at the gym or something, like, hey, what do you do? And I was like, for a living. I was like, I disappoint women all day. Like, I had a wife, a daughter, and like 8 direct reports. Somebody's always mad at me. But like, the idea is like, some people, they just can't do it because they don't want people to be disappointed in their lack of response time. They want to be thought of like this, and this. And if they can't handle that set of, hey, people are going to be disappointed at times in your leadership, or in the direction you go or the way that you respond, then you're not going to be able to move anywhere, because you're always going to be caught between what makes your image and what gets people, on your side and playing that political game. And I just think that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.